Welcome, summoners, to Instalock Mid Episode 3. As always, I am Motgnarom, your host, joined by Renzler
How you doing?
and Aliwicious.
What's up?
And this week we've got a ton of content to get into, so I'm just going to hop straight into it. Renzler, how was your week this week?
I had a pretty solid week. I had a bummer with the Voices of Sanctuary recording. I lost the file. Thank you, XSplit. Not that wasn't cool. And Phoenix is away, so I have not taken care of the house at all. So I've just been playing games and Diablo 3. I hit 60 on Sunday, so I'm really happy about that. I'm not dead yet,
Nice.
but I'm basically waiting for the PvP patch. And
There you go.
listen to the Voices podcast for more info on that. And it was good. I played some games of League, did bad, lost a lot more bot games, and it was great. I now know how to completely build Warwick the wrong way and how he's
Cool.
completely useless in every possible situation. So that was my week.
We will fix that with this episode, I think. What'd you do for your fourth? Anything special?
Played League. Played League for like 5 hours straight.
No better way to spend it. How about you, Aloysius? How was your week?
I've been enjoying a fair amount of all sorts of crazy new games. Just tried a new free-to-play game on Steam called Blacklight Retribution.
Amazing.
Really good FPS, pretty high quality for being a free-to-play. For the fourth, I visited a friend and we took his boat out on a lake and had some drinks and went tubing and got cooked like a chicken. So I am flaming red, a little sore, and in desperate need of some aloe.
Yeah, you and me both on the same boat, and I am as pink as a lobster right now and incredibly uncomfortable. Me this week, I haven't been playing Cho lately. I've been playing a lot of different champions and I've been all over the spectrum, but I had the most amazing Cho game. I don't even remember the score. That wasn't the important part. What happened was within like the first 5 minutes of this game, everyone on my team died. It was 5-0. Everybody died once. And our Ari, who was mid, was just like, screw it, I'm done. Aloysius, you were Nautilus,
Jungle
jungle, I believe.
Nautilus.
And then we had two Terabads bot. No. Who was? No, that was a different game. We had your girlfriend, Momo, bottom, and one guy who was really terrible because Momo is still getting used to the game and still working on her skills, and this guy was just playing like a douche.
Terrible, but
But
not me? How is that possible?
oh, trust me, you can get much worse. Believe me. So what ends up happening is they leave me alone, and there was a heavy AD game on their end, and I ended up getting Thornmail, and the game just flipped. And we just started destroying them. I wasn't dying, just running around like a good show, being huge and just unkillable. And it's games like that that I love League so much. And that's why we do this. That's why we're here. We're here for you. So news for this week, a whole bunch of it. We have a new 5v5 map. And by new, I mean old and been around for a while. The tutorial map, the Proving Grounds, is now playable as a 5v5 normal, maybe not normal, but at least custom and, yeah, custom game. It is fantastic only because you can just play the most ridiculous game scenarios. Not very good for a single legitimate game, but if you want to just roll down one lane and just have a complete cluster F in the middle, it's just fantastic. I don't know, Aloysius, have you played this yet?
I have. I played 2 games of what I believe to be the intention of it. ARAM, all random, all middle.
Yes.
Those are absolutely my favorite, and I think Proving Grounds is the best place for it. And you've already seen some influx of forum posts requesting ARAM. Well, not ARAM. Will Proving Grounds go queuable? People would like to queue up for Proving Grounds games.
Yeah.
So,
No, I haven't had the opportunity to play it, and maybe sometime this week, Renzler, when you improve your skills a little bit and earn your weekly merit, we can hop into an all
Yeah,
random.
don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. Have you played the Proving Grounds? Have you done the tutorial yet?
Yes, I ran through the tutorial a few times in the first couple days that I was playing the game. Lost everything. I mean, it was a game that you can't lose, and I lost. And
Good.
I don't think
Good.
I don't think that it was because I'm just a dumb gamer. I think I had a strategy in my mind that said this is going to work, and anyone who's ever played League more than 5 minutes would say that's absolutely the opposite of what you want to be doing. So I went a direction and just said, fine, just buy all the recommended items, go do what it tells you, and it's, oh look, there's a guy attacking. Oh crap, I just got killed by a turret. What the hell? That's how the game went.
Yeah, no, but it's good to have a new, at least something to kind of mix things up and to have fun with. And this was a result of a public event that they are doing at Riot, where the developers get to go in and just build whatever they want for the game, and if it's good enough, then sure, they'll throw it in. So this is hopefully the first of some really cool stuff that we're going to see. Probably not game-changing stuff in terms of ranked play, but at least fun side stuff for us to kind of play around with. So thank you, Riot, and the team who worked on that to get that going. It's a lot of fun. So we got a new skin this week, an amazing skin, the Pulsefire Ezreal, finally released. Amazing skin, had a complete rework of the character, gives you new voices, new animations for all the spells, even I believe it's a three-tiered transformation. As you level up, the skin gets more comprehensive and his suit powers up. Absolutely amazing. So great to see this. Aliwicious, you bought this skin, correct?
I did. I bought it. I had more than half the RP, so I threw a few dollars League's way to get the rest. But primarily why I bought is I think this could be the beginning to some really good skin ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I think the evolving, ever-changing skin. I think the number of people that purchased this, and this, I think they called this their first theme pack. So it came with a new summoner icon. It came with a new banner.
Oh,
You
wow,
know,
I didn't know that.
yeah, for the people that bought it. I think it could be the first in some really cool skin theme kind of stuff for your launcher. It was awesome. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and kudos to Riot for actually making something that in a free-to-play game that somebody wants to buy that doesn't really alter your ability to kill that person. Because there's nothing worse than playing a free-to-play game where it's pay to win and you just run into those people that just pay for it. But here, you can tell when somebody's been paying for the game and have been spending a lot of money in it, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're good. They just need to implement something where you can return a skin. So when you do terrible, you can just change that back over.
The enemies vote to have you return your skin. You were that bad.
Skin revoked. No, it has to be your team. Your team gets to vote on whether or not your skin's going to be revoked.
I like that.
So speaking of playing, that was a terrible transition, but we'll roll with it. I haven't noticed too much of the bad patch crap. It seems like everything is back to normal and in good straits, so that's always great news. And of course, on the horizon now we have a new patch. We've got the patch preview out for Jace. We got some big changes coming out. Oriana's getting a change. Nunu's getting some jungle updates. Global ultimates are getting their cooldowns raised. And LeBlanc is getting some changes. Now, last week we went over LeBlanc as sort of our champion of the week. Aloysius, what do you think about the LeBlanc changes coming up?
I think it was. I mean, I look forward to it. I think it's going to be lots of fun with the ability to. What is that? I think it's distortion.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, yeah, distort twice. I think that's really cool. I don't believe that I'm ready to call that a really big buff. I think it's more of a survivability, and already having a free flash at level 6, double that up if you've taken flash, triple flash it's great. I'm not ready to call it a buff. I like the projectile speed increase. That's pretty solid. I'm not ready to call it a buff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it really makes her that much more viable as a mid.
Yeah. No, I understand. And then, of course, we actually have the confirmation of Jace himself as a champion, as the 100th champion. And he looks pretty cool. Jace, the Defender of Tomorrow. It'll be an interesting balance. I haven't messed around on the beta too much. For released games, I'm not a huge fan of hopping into betas just because I like to play the game where it's, official and actually out there. What do you think, Renzler? How do you feel about Jace, the Defender of Tomorrow?
I'm stoked for it. I want to play it. If it's not too much in RP, I'll probably go after it, especially if it's IP points. I'll totally play up and gain my points and buy it. Hopefully it's not RP only, but I'd like to try it. Like I said last week, I think the mode switching mechanic is going to be very cool, and I'm happy for it. I'm stoked for it.
Yep, I'm definitely going to be saving up my IP to purchase him as soon as he comes out. So hopefully we will have a. Is it going to come out this week?
I believe it should be next week.
That's good because
I
I
don't know the
need
release
some
date.
time. Yeah, I need some time to get up those points. So
One thing
maybe.
I'm really looking forward to with Jace is his gate. I'm sure if you guys watched the little teasers that were data mined out of the beta, seeing his little gate, how it accelerates his projectile, his gunshot. There's some speculation that that might work on fellow champions, teammates as well, their projectiles. And I'm just thinking of how much crazier it could get when you start getting accelerated Ash arrows, accelerated as alties.
I
Those I
hope
think could be really cool.
I hope it works for everything solely for Aramis with boots of mobility and his little speed roll buff and just shoot him across the map.
That'd be legit. I'd do it.
I love those old videos of all the speed boosts you could possibly get on Ramus, and he's just trucking across the map. But
Yep.
yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe I'll finally, give in and go try out the beta. There's some other things that came out of the beta. I'm actually skipping around from our script, so hopefully we can all keep on here. Some new little tweaks. I know there are many, but just some of the ones that I picked up on. The wards now have health meters and timers on them, which is incredibly helpful because for those of us who go unmodded, so to speak, I usually don't have much of a sense of when my ward's gonna run out unless I'm using Wriggles, and it's just it's a nice little tweak. I think the damage on it not so much. I mean, 3 hits. I haven't played many ranked games, so I don't think that's too much of a deal to know how many hits are left on one. But cool nonetheless. And then it'll also show you who kills Dragon. Now, I find this interesting only because it doesn't tell the enemy team when Dragon's been killed. It just says it for your team. So, well,
That
you
would
know,
be that would be quite silly to tell the other team when you've killed Dragon.
well, all right. But why put the feature in at all? I don't know. Maybe somebody sees a use out of it. Somebody obviously did. They added it to the game, but
I think
uh,
the benefit is now comes in with the timestamps available in the game. That now being a chat log entry, you no longer need to mentally write down the time.
oh,
Reference
true.
back and say, "Hey, it's been 5 minutes." We have
Very true. Good
yes.
call. I guess I didn't pick up on that. Some other news, kind of funny news actually. A community member on the League of Legends forums managed to notice Zillion, our good friend, popping up in other games. By popping up, I mean being his artwork being stolen and placed into some game on the Android market called Archmage. I'm looking through the card set. It's kind of interesting. You can see his artwork there, and if you kind of peruse through the rest of the artwork, it's taken from a bunch of stuff, a bunch of games. There's some of the Magic artwork taken, so kind of interesting how people get caught. So feel my heart goes out to the guys at Archmage because you're probably about to get sued. But moving on from there, PC World reports that European accounts have had their account information compromised. Now, this wasn't billing information, luckily for these European players. It apparently was only the email addresses, passwords, player names, date of birth. Still kind of a scary thing for anybody who really cares about their account security. Renzler, what are you going to do if your account gets stolen?
Well, I've already changed my password. I'd love to see Riot come out with some kind of authenticator or two-factor authentication for it.
Ooh,
Really, the
yeah.
problem is that if people are able to take the contents of the database, like the cell data itself, whether it's encrypted or not, it doesn't matter. Encrypted just means it's going to take a little bit longer for them to get to it. I have 2 degrees in security, so This frightens me kind of, because if people are able to get into the infrastructure and take the cell and database data, then they have everything. Now, the billing information, it's good that they don't have that. But if we start seeing accounts getting hijacked and people getting screwed up in tournaments, I mean, teams that have been practicing for a long time, been trying to do well in their specific region, going into IPL 5 or IPL 6 or whatever the next big tournament is, and all of a sudden, 3 days before the tournament starts, their account gets completely hijacked. That's a problem. I mean, it's a problem anytime, but that specifically is a problem. So what I would like to see Riot do as a stopgap for that is to give us some kind of authenticator, some SMS, mobile app, whatever they want to do, maybe anything really. Give us something else that we can use, and then obviously secure the backend database more. I mean, obviously you cannot completely prevent anyone. Nothing is unhackable. That's just how it is. Nothing is unhackable, especially with something that has to be as connected as the master database that they've got. There's probably only a few systems that can actually get directly to it, but the point is something can, which means a hacker will eventually. So yes, it sucks. Yes, it will happen eventually on a long enough timeline, but hopefully Riot responds in a tangible way with increasing their security on their network.
Yep. And I definitely wouldn't mind having some authentication. I loved what Blizzard came out with, that little authenticator. I never actually got hacked, I don't think, but it was at least good security to know that it's there. So the technology's out there, it exists. It's not unfathomable. So yeah, hopefully we see something nice like that. Speaking of teams going into tournaments, the Curse team just entered into some sort of wacky new gaming house where I guess they're going to be living in a house together, playing and streaming and doing all that sorts of fun stuff. Personally, I don't love Curse. Not necessarily the League of Legends team, but just the company as a whole. They seem very gimmicky in all the different platforms that they touch and they've purchased. And what is the team? Is it Digitas or is it TSM that has the gaming house? Do either of you know?
I don't remember specifically, but I
think
am
Solo
not
did.
new to this.
I think TSM has a house.
Yeah.
A lot of the big name teams have houses, just like a lot of Korean and Asian based competitive teams. They've been doing this for years, and we're just now
Yeah.
catching up.
I think, I don't know, maybe Curse is actually just really progressive and is doing it in a tangible way, and it's actually a great thing for the gaming community to have a professional representation. I just can't get over the I don't know. I just don't like them. So
I don't mind them.
yeah, no, I guess I can't really put a specific reason as to why. It's just some things just rub you the wrong way, and I don't
They've
know.
rubbed you.
Yeah, Curse has cursed me. Some last minute news I actually picked up today from Reddit that apparently now when you make a custom game with bots, they will actually amend lanes to your preference, which is kind of cool. So if you go ahead and hop in a game, it will the bots will sort of form around you. So Renzler, if those bot games keep wearing down on you, you can always just hop in a custom game.
All right.
There you go. Speaking of Renzler and his fantastic play styles, we had our weekly game with Renzler, and to be fair, you weren't as bad as you were previously. You're starting to get sort of the rotation down, and I think you now realize that you can actually jungle from level 1, which is always an improvement.
Well, with a good leash, I can, but with
Yes,
cards that are
yes.
like false Sparta and just run out and start trying to kill bots, that's all they care about. It's horrible.
Right. Well, that's the problem with bot games. I mean, I enjoy bot games because they allow you to reach your particular champion's full potential and just run around and really see what kind of damage you can roll out. And bots are usually okay with building against things, but they kind of are a bit modular in the sense of what they buy. But you do get a certain amount of playroom, and it does give you some opportunities to get a sense of the speed of a champion and how you can utilize them. I saw you rocking 2 boots, one for each foot, which
I
isn't
forgot
the
to sell the
most.
boots of speed. I'm sorry. Okay, it was a
Isn't
build
the
on
most.
Mobifier, and unfortunately, it was lacking awesomeness. It just wasn't that great, so
Yes.
I decided to modify a little bit.
And that's why this week we've decided to, by we, I mean me, because Champion of the Week is my week. We're gonna talk about using a Mobifier build as our Champion of the Week, and we're gonna pick Warwick because you've seemed to grown quite fond of Warwick and you enjoy him quite a bit. So we're gonna talk about the Jungle Warwick build. This build is from Mobifier.com. The name of the build is called Wanderlust Warwick. It's one of the top builds. I cannot pronounce the user's name. It is Jhoi. So I don't know. Joy Joy? I don't
Close
know. I'm
enough.
terrible. There we go. He knows who he is. He created quite a nice build. He includes both a jungle and a solo top Warwick build, but for the purposes of this week, we're just going to talk about the jungle build. So let's take you through sort of what Mobifier, the interface, what it presents to you, and we'll talk about the build a bit. So the first thing that you're really going to want to pay attention to in a Mobifier build is at the top it'll give you a couple different builds. You see them by their name and sort of the little icon, and then you just want to make sure that you're building for the set. Now you gotta pay attention to these different sets within a build because they could be for different team layouts. They could be for different team compositions. They could be for the enemy team composition. And some are very specific. Some give you those options. Others will just give you one. So you need to just be aware of that going in. And there's no since they're all always different, there's no real good way to explain which is which, other than you just getting a feel for the kinds of items and maybe going down into the table of contents and seeing how that person describes it. For the purposes of Wanderlust Warwick, his build guide gives you your jungle Warwick and your solo top. So the next thing you're going to notice is the summoner spells, the 2 upper right icons that person suggests. For this particular one, it gives you Smite and Flash. Obviously, I don't believe you're level 12 yet, Renzler, so Flash won't be your choice. You may want to go with something like Ghost. That's, a good option. Really, I don't think at your level it matters too much, and it certainly doesn't matter a whole lot during or against bots. But I would suggest using Ghost as a replacement for Flash.
Okay.
Um, Next, it'll give you the champion space stats. Doesn't really matter as much. Once you get into the higher levels of play, that may be something you want to pay attention to, but you don't really need to pay attention to that now. I'm sorry, it's not the base stats. That is the stats after items and recommended runes. So interesting stuff to pay attention to, but again, it is pretty in-depth information, and you can glaze over it just briefly, I suppose, if you're new. But then we get into the recommended runes. Now, this can tend to vary depending on the submitter. This particular person put down attack speed runes, armor runes, magic resist per level runes, and movement speed quintessence. Now, those are the recommended. Sometimes in builds, they give you multiple options to basically allow you to choose for yourself. At low levels, again, this isn't going to make a huge difference, but buying those runes or subsets of those runes is usually the best if you're going to use the item set provided and the ability sequence provided. So do keep that in mind as you go forward. The purchase order. Purchase order is the next thing that comes out. It'll show all the items going across in relatively the order in which you should buy them. Now, this is where I think you ran into some problems last time.
Definitely.
What happens with these is people take a couple different theories with them. Some people put all the items that you might want in a row. Some people put the specific order you want to buy them. And some people are putting comp-specific items in there. So use it as a general guide. Obviously, in your particular guide you were looking at, they had two different boots, obviously for two different situations, but I can see how if you're a new player, you would just say, oh, okay, so I should get both boots. Obviously not the case. So this particular build offers longsword and health potion first, moving into Madred's Razor, then boots, then wriggles, mercury treads, heart of gold, and wit's end. Now, that you should be able to achieve relatively quickly. Obviously, this isn't a complete build because, well, unless you win the game very quickly, it's feasible to get to the end of the build just on those items. So, what you would want to do in that situation is think about the kind of damage you're doing. In this case, you're doing attack damage, so some of the items you can build off there. Look at your enemies, the opposing team, and the kind of damage they do to build defensive items, and sort of go off that. Maybe buy some of the recommended items. You'll get used to champions and some of the other items that are sort of clutch for that particular champion. And you can always look for similar builds and kind of get a sense for what they're building as well. The next section is the ability sequence. This is pretty good. You want to stick to the guide's ability sequence because whatever runes, masteries, and items they're building is heavily based off the ability sequence and the kind of damage that that ability provides and the utility. So it would be very long to go through all 18 of the order, but take a look at this section, follow it pretty strictly. You'll find that with some champions, as long as you're building the same kind of damage type, be it AD or AP, it's usually the same order and pretty consistent. So you get used to it, and you just kind of want to adhere to that. For the masteries, it provides a 21 offense, 9 defense, 0 utility build. This is pretty standard for a jungler. Warwick is kind of unique because he does magic damage and attack damage all at once. He's a hybrid champion. So this goes for a hybrid approach, giving not only attack damage stuff, but magic penetration and cooldown reduction as well. And then it goes into going into the defensive tree rather than shooting straight up for the health bonus. It tends towards the returning damage to minions through bladed armor. So this is a very a jungle-centric build. Obviously, you're going to want to be doing damage to the jungle creeps to sort of help, kill them quicker, and is built around that. So that's definitely a staple. Now, the next sections are something that's very crucial to the guides. They provide breakdowns of all the different pros and cons of champions, explanations of the masteries and why you want them. It sometimes gives you some different mastery suggestions. This guide is very good about breaking down different kinds of builds, maximum damage, maximized survivability, utility, a balanced approach. And these are decisions that come over time. If you're finding that you're dying a lot, you may want to go for survivability. If you're feeling like you're not doing enough damage, obviously increase your damage. So it's good to read through and know the different options you have. These top-rated guides are very good in the sense that they get voted up by a ton of people and very harshly criticized and edited over time. So trust in the fact that the people who have made these know a bit more than the average person. And while I would never say that they are the end go-to guide for everything, it's at least a good spot to start your build and get a feel for the game to know where you can customize. So that's pretty much it for the Mobifier build. You can always go deeper into the comments and into some of the item discussions and kind of figure out where to take your build from there and what to base it off of. You've got a really good foundation there. So hopefully this week when we play our game, you'll give Wanderlust Warwick a shot, and we'll see how that goes for you. Now, I want to move into a new section to better enhance your jungling ability. Aliwicious and I had a really cool conversation with our third roommate, his girlfriend Monique, about lanes. She's also new to the game. She's a little bit more experienced than you, doing a lot better. Let's talk about the jungle, Aloysius. Give Renzler some good tips on moving through the jungle, how to play through the jungle, some of the things you need to look for. I know you've been rocking Nautilus jungle this week and have been doing quite well with it. So I think we can have a good discussion about this.
Okay, let's do this. So the jungler has kind of a unique role as far as the rest of his teammates are concerned. The jungler's lane, if you want to call it that, his job is really to ensure that the rest of his fellow teammates succeed, whether that be providing them ward protection, providing them ganks, to help keep overextended enemies at bay. If you can get them kills, securing that extra gold for both the jungler and the lane. Just more gold for the team means more win. That's just how that works. What you do have to be aware of, though, is that junglers, in my opinion, and I've seen it a few other places on the internet, come in a few varieties. There is the ganking jungler, so junglers that have really good ganks coming out, and that's pretty much where their utility lies. My recent insurgence of playing Nautilus is a great example of that. His anchor with his slow and his stun on the auto attack are excellent for ganking. He's not going to start slaughtering people on his own, and he provides a lot of utility. When you're not a ganking jungler, there are two, I kind of break them into two. There are two others. There's the counter jungler, so someone who succeeds in destroying their opponent's jungler, killing their creeps, taking their red buff, leaving one of the golems up so it doesn't reset, killing just the big wraith, shutting your opponent's ability to get that same experience and same gold, shutting them down as best as you can while still maintaining your farm. And the other kind of jungler that is actually what I used to play exclusively is the late game, very strong kind of carry jungler like a Shyvana. Shyvana's ganks are not excellent. With a little movement speed buff, it's not bad, but she doesn't have the same utility to come out and stun people, slow them. So what you kind of have to do is irrelevant to what kind of jungler you are. You need to pay attention to a few things. Lanes that are usually getting destroyed by the enemy jungler. Unfortunately, no matter how much you politely ask people to do it, sometimes you're going to have to ward for them. You're going to have to ward their lane. You're going to have to ping enemies coming down as you see them. Your job is to babysit everybody. And unfortunately so, the role of jungler means that when people lose their lane, it's intrinsically going to be your fault. And League of Legends is not in short supply of people to say that. You're like, oh, the jungler didn't gank my lane, so that's why I died 6 times. Well, do you think maybe you should have overextended every time? Or, could you have played a little bit differently? But, that's people willing to learn and improve in the game, then you can offer them those tips. But as a jungler, you want to just kind of pay attention to wards. You want to pay attention to timers on buffs. I know that if the enemy has a jungler that starts at blue, you can usually go and get them. I believe, I want to say it's 7 minutes. Around 7 minutes is when their blue buff will respawn. If you ward their blue buff, you can come over with smite, steal their blue, and maybe get a kill on them. So you're a lot of utility. You're a babysitter. You got to be a scary force when enemies are playing wards. You got to buy pinks. You got to buy an oracle. You gotta shut them down and cause them to keep sinking money into ensuring that they don't die to you. You have to be a scary, surprising force, and there are a lot of really different kinds of junglers. You have stuff like Udyr with his slow on his axe. You have Udyr with his stun. You got some crazy ones. Amumu's later tonight. I'm actually going to give an AP Amumu build a try. So there's a lot you can do in the jungle, but you have to kind of keep your essential responsibilities in mind, and you can pretty much do it with a lot of champions now.
Sounds good. And I think my tip for the jungler is to always exercise the best communication possible with your team. The best The best junglers are the junglers who, as they're moving throughout and they're getting ready for ganks, are giving plenty of notice ahead of time. Like, okay, I'm moving in for a gank. Don't push as hard. Let him go back. Let him sink in. There's nothing worse than a jungler who just sees an opportunity to start on a gank and then just hops right into it. And then you're either getting ready to go back or you're maybe paying attention to something else that's going on the map, and then all of a sudden, boom, your jungler's in there and he's about to die or he does die or you miss out on a gank, all because there was just a communication breakdown. So, it is the whole team's responsibility to communicate effectively, but do not underestimate your ability as the jungler to facilitate a lot of this communication and make sure that it goes down quite nicely. Cool. And we are running short on time, so we're going to kind of breeze through the last bit of content. As always, we have our featured community of the week. This week, I'm as a social media professional, if such things exist at 23, that all that college time gone to waste. I'm constantly trying to expand us as a podcast and Severity Gaming as a community, and a part of that is obviously reaching out to the other communities that already exist and the other people who have been in this market and doing it for a while. And one of the best that I've picked up on that's helped me a lot with producing the show is Twitter account LOL Reds. That's at LOL Reds, Reds. They are a awesome Twitter account that scans through the League of Legends official forums, and anytime a Riot employee posts and makes a comment on something or starts a thread, they go ahead and post it straight to Twitter with a brief recap and a link to the article. So that's great for picking up these little nuggets of information that sort of get spread around. And he's got she has a lot of followers, and they're a really great utility. So hats off to you, LOL Reds. Keep doing what you do. And pretty soon we will be launching the Instalock Mid Facebook page and Twitter account. I'm going to be throughout the week sharing content that I find that may not make it to the final show recorded on Thursdays, but still worthwhile for the community. So expect some more in-depth stuff, maybe some of the games once we get up to the point where we're streaming the games that we play with Renzler to make him not so bad, and the games that Aliwicious and I play throughout the week. You'll see some content from that coming out. So look forward to that. We're starting to get more than a few iTunes subscribers. We'll be on board with Stitcher by the end of the week, a mobile app that allows you to follow your favorite podcasts and discover more. So go and check them out as well. And as always, our iTunes accounts are ever growing. So I think we're up to 280, and that's under the Severity Gaming Greater YouTube account. So just search Instalock Mid and you'll see our 2 episodes so far, and hopefully by Saturday our 3rd episode, the episode you're hearing right now. We do have our contest results. For those of you who've been with us since our first episode, you'll remember the quickest win contest. I recently, we didn't get too many responses on our first posting of it. I don't think too many people listened to the podcast the whole way through, but I went on Reddit earlier today and kind of last minute threw up the contest rules and was met with a ton of submissions, and I got a lot of great submissions. The winner, I'll actually leave it up to you guys. What do you think the fastest time is? Knowing that surrender happens at 20, what do you think the fastest time is? And Aloysius, if I told you at work today, don't say it.
I don't
Make
think
something
you
up.
did.
Make something up.
My guess, only because I've seen some really good. There's some games where you crush lanes and everybody pushes appropriately. I'm gonna guess something spectacular like 17:30, 17:45.
Okay. How about you, Renzler?
I was going to say like 20 minutes, 6 seconds. However long it takes for someone to hit surrender and then for everybody else to accept.
Okay. Now I'm gonna give you guys the team that lost, I'm going to give you their score, and I'll give you one more chance to adjust your answer, and then I'll tell you the time and the name of the person. Okay? So it's Morgana 1 2 and 0, Pantheon 010, Fizz 030, Karma 030, and Ash 010.
That's the enemy team score?
That's the enemy team score.
That's awful. What? That was bad.
Any adjustments to the times?
No, I like mine.
Okay. And none of the creep scores on the other team, on the losing team, were over 32.
Oh, good.
32 and below, and most of them didn't get into double digits.
That
Okay.
doesn't surprise me.
So I'm going to say 9 minutes, 35 seconds.
Ooh, you undershot it.
I'm going to
You
say it was
undershot it.
basically 5 people rushing one lane and just destroying.
13 minutes.
12 minutes 49 seconds. And
Yeah.
this game actually answered a question for me. The only reason they won was because all 5 enemy team members quit.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
They were getting rolled
happens?
so bad they just quit.
Now I don't know
I didn't realize the game ends like that.
See, that's the question I had is, does the game end, or
Doesn't matter. They can all rush the turrets and destroy.
Yeah.
You can take down
Exactly.
the inhibitor pretty quick, and yeah.
So there's our thing for the week. Let us know if you've played a game and everyone's left. Does the game just end, or can you just power straight through? So leave that in the YouTube comments. Send us an email. Figure that out, because I'm now really interested. But good for you, Noobaraka. That's Nooborka. You have won yourself a Riot Nasus skin. I will be contacting you in-game or by email. This was an email submission, so for those of you who are tuning in from the Riot post and not seeing his submission, he did submit it through email, and we'll post up that screenshot on the Severity Gaming website so that you guys can have it. But good for you, man. So that wraps up all of our show's content for today. We are grossly over time, so our good friend Renzler will have a ball compressing this 45-minute episode. Or maybe we'll just start putting out 45-minute episodes every week. Who knows?
I'm just going to cut it a little bit and get rid of the umzas, dead space, the standard stuff, and put it out.
Fine.
It doesn't have to be 30 minutes, so we're good. But I do have an additional comment.
Oh,
Two
sure.
things. Okay, one is I called the show PEZ Dispenser because so many people bought the Pulsefire Ezreal skin. It was nuts. Okay,
Oh.
earlier I've been looking at the forums, and it's just been crazy. Dude, did you guys buy the skin? It's like, dude, who didn't buy the skin? Hello? And so I said, well, I have to come up with some clever names. So I did. I was trying to find out during the episode. I kept muting myself and trying to get on the League of Legends forums to see how many people had actually bought it, because they might have some kind of metric there. Yeah, guess what? The League of Legends web servers, they're all down. You can't get to
Oh,
them.
what?
They're all.
Oh, come on.
You check it for me, please, because I can. Every PC in my house, I ran while freaking Ali was answering. I ran to the other room and tried to get on. I can't get on. I cannot get on their
come on,
website.
Riot.
It's the Riot website's probably good, but the na.leagueoflegends.com website for me is straight down.
Hold on.
League of Legends better not be down or I'll be
No,
sad.
League of Legends is fine. League of Legends is fine.
The game is fine, but
No.
it sounds like their
Yeah, I
web
can't
servers
get-
are not responding.
Oh, wow.
'Cause-
No, I can't get on. I just realized that Pulsefire Ezreal went up to 32.50.
Yeah,
Really?
it's not on sale
RP.
anymal
Eh.
It's
Oh,
not on
God,
sale anymore.
I was thinking after this, like, oh yeah, no, I'll go buy them. I don't own Ezreal, but I get paid. I got paid today, so I'll put on some RP and buy them, because Ezreal I've always
$5.
wanted to.
Now it's like,
Give
what is
a
it,
shot.
$30?
Yeah. No, it's
More than that, hold on.
It's 1 RP,
Let's-
1 cent.
no.
Oh, hold on. Let's go see. RP, purchase RP. So the highest. Hey, come on now. There we go. It's loading. Okay, so the highest amount of RP you can buy is 7,200, which is $50. So the lowest that you would have to spend is $35 to get 5,000, or $20 to get 2,800. So you could buy $20 worth and $5 worth to get, I believe, just over what you'll need. But either way, that's almost a $30 purchase for the theme pack. So I'm glad that I I bought it when I did half that
Yep.
price.
Yeah,
And you
Well,
need to own the champion too. So if you
that
don't
with the
have
special
the
was
IP,
half price. But that's
Yeah.
just two things I wanted to say, that people bought up Pulsefire, and I watched a lot of games. It's probably why I wasn't playing so much. I did play about a dozen games over the weekend and about 5 hours worth of games yesterday. That was like 8 or 9 games. But I did watch a lot to see what people were doing, and I
Mhm.
saw I don't know. I haven't watched obviously all the league video that's on YouTube, but I think I saw the first ulti triple kill that I've seen. One guy ran bot lane with Pulse as they did an extreme back and forth Braveheart kind of battle, and
Oh yeah.
the enemy team, the blue team, was retreating, and this guy was like, "Screw you guys," and just put an ulti straight up the lane and
Yep.
wiped them all out.
Yep. I've gotten some good Draven kills this week with my blades. I love the across map ultis, but they're gonna be OP. I think I'm gonna buy the Gentleman Cho'Gath skin this weekend.
what? Isn't that like $10?
Yeah. But I think if I buy one of the larger packs and I'll have a little bit of RP maybe to buy another skin, one of the cheaper skins. I like to have a skin with each of my sort of clutch characters. So maybe I'll buy 2 skins. We are running desperately low on time, so final thoughts, guys?
Final thoughts. Renzler, make sure in our game that we record this week that we will share with everybody that you see how much CS you can get.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of creep score you can get.
And only one pair of boots, please.
I challenged my girlfriend to do the same, and she's been working on it. So CS is numero uno.
But I'm a
Okay?
jungler. I'm supposed to just be killing jungle mobs. Why should I be going after
Yeah.
CS score?
Get your CS from the other jungles. Obviously.
Understood.
God
Yes,
damn, it's gross.
yes. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for watching Instalock Mid by Severity Gaming, episode number 3. This is Motgnarom, and we are signing out. Tune in with us every week for more League of Legends news, strategy, discussion, whatever else I feel relevant for the week. So, see you in game.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Peace.